Right, good afternoon, Form 5. This is, as promised, a series of revision videos based on YouTube. I'm going to try and keep them very short and to the point and well organised to help you. I'm going to try and send my short one every day. This one will be slightly longer because it's an introduction. First time I've seen my tooth missing like that. It looks awful, doesn't it? So I'm going to have to get that replaced. Today's video will be based on settlement, okay? Settlement and provision, okay? And it's going to focus on the easy questions, okay? There'll be a video on the medium and then the hard for each topic. This is settlement provision, and we're focusing on the easy questions that carry 1 to 4 marks, okay? Very easy question to start with. What is settlement? You've got a section on it, so you should be able to define it. A settlement is defined as a place where people live. Okay, a place where people live. Now, to upgrade the questions a little bit, study figure 1, which shows an area of settlement. Identify the function of the settlement shown in the photograph below. I'll show you that in a moment. The command word is identify, which requires you to name it. Okay, right. There is your photograph. Name the function of this. Let's go back. Settlement. What is the function? Don't overthink this. It's simple. It's shops. Shops can be better known as retail. It's an area of retail. It could be an area of housing. It could be, it could be area of industry, but that's an area of retail. Okay, let's step it up a little bit. It's break time, so there's noise in the background. Study figure 2.1 below. Okay. It's a settlement called Old Walls, okay? And simple 1 point question here. What type of settlement does the Old Walls map show? Okay. I'm hoping you're all going to be okay with this. It's a linear settlement. We can see there's a linear development across that road, okay? So it's a linear settlement. Now, this one shows a map of Penmaen, okay? A bit more of a detailed map with a key. We've got a scale. We've got compass points that you should have on a map. Describe 2 characteristics of dispersed settlement like Penmaen, okay? So why it's dispersed, we have properties kind of not closely together. They're kind of, there's a big distance between various properties. Okay. You need to describe 2 properties. One, as I was saying, they are widely spaced. We can see that when we go back to that, there is nice big gaps between all the various properties. They're not one on top of the other like you'd find in an urban area. They're quite widely spaced. There's a space between, okay? And the second point, they're usually separated by farmland. Dispersed settlements are usually almost exclusively related to agriculture. You won't find dispersed settlement in a town. It's where there's agriculture taking place. And that's because in between houses you have the fields, which whether that's arable farming or pastoral farming, the houses are there and they have their fields around them. That's why they're dispersed. Okay. So so they're your 2 marks there. You could also say the settlement is surrounded by fields. There is no obvious pattern there. It's not linear, it's not nucleated, it's dispersed. And it would also be associated with a sparse or low population density. And that's fairly obvious why, okay? That's your geographical thinking. Now, let's move on to the harder of these questions. And we're given another map of an area called Penrhys, okay? Using evidence from figure 2.1 only, give 3 reasons why Penrhys is a nucleated settlement. Well, first of all, I'm hoping you can look at Penrhys and see that it is indeed nucleated. That could be another question. What type of settlement is it? You've got a linear one, it could have been a nucleated one, but it's not. We're drilling down into this. So look at Penrhys, okay? Can you see reasons why the settlement here could be nucleated? Now, the answers for this is characterised by grouping of buildings around a central point up there. Therefore, Penrhys qualifies as a nucleated settlement due to its central location between the church and the castle. So it's got things there to nucleate around. Okay, there's stuff to nucleate around. In fact, there's two things, the church and the castle. It's also located around a road junction where two roads meet. Again, it's a kind of a meeting place, okay? And if you look back at the map, there is a water supply. So there's lots of reasons why Penrith is nucleated. It's got two very key points. Go back a long time, the castle and church would have been of great importance, and they need people around them to support them. We've got water nearby, and we've got this crossroad of several roads actually meeting at this place. So that's why it's become a nucleated settlement. Okay. Um, 4 marks for that. And that's 4 marks for 4 clear points, actually. Okay. Now we've got another model. So let's look at this model. It's a Venn value diagram showing different types of settlement from rural, dispersed, all the way up to big urban cities. Simple question. What is meant by dispersed settlement? Okay, we've covered that already a little bit. Okay. What is meant by dispersed settlement? Okay. Now, it's an area with lots of land or space between homes, usually farmland. Okay. There's a lot of space, there's a lot of area between homes or houses, usually because of farmland. Okay. Using that Venn value diagram again, identify from figure 2.1 a type of rural settlement, countryside, agriculture, rural. We come back here, and all you've got to do is, well, it could be the hamlet or village or dispersed. Okay, you just got to be able to read the Venn value diagram. Okay, and an urban settlement, same thing. You know, a conurbation is somewhere you would migrate, travel from. You know, you could argue that Rose Hill was a conurbation of Port Louis. City, living in Port Louis, or a town like Catrabon, okay? They're urban settlements. Where the two meet is in the rural urban fringe, right on the edge of town, where town meets the countryside, okay? So you get points for those. And there's your example. They chose village and town, which is perfectly fine. Okay, and that's 2 marks. Okay. Now, state 3 typical land uses in the rural urban fringe. So that part in the middle of the Venn diagram where towns or cities on their edges meet rural areas, what sort of land uses could we get there? Okay. 3 marks, 3 things we need to think about here. Okay. One typical land use in the rural urban fringe is building new housing estates because there's nowhere to build houses in the town anymore. They've run out, so it spreads. We call it urban sprawl. So you might find newer housing estates because they're right on the edge of the town. It's the only place left to build. Okay. Another is buildings or roads because a lot of towns have bypasses now because they're so congested, they have to build a new road on the edge of the town. So where the town or the city meets the countryside, the urban area, you might find some major roads. The M25 in London is a good one. The M25 circles London. In Mauritius, we're now building where on the edge of towns, we're building new roads and bypasses all over Mauritius because the middle's too congested. So you put it on the edge between the two. Okay. You would also find things like industrial estates and business parks because inner cities are too congested. So industry tends to move to the edge where there's more space to build warehouses, there's more affordability, and they can still service the city from there. Okay. So you've got 3 things. Ring roads, new housing developments, and new industrial developments to service that city as it grows. But also on the rural urban fringe, you still would find agriculture. Airports, you know that airports are generally not in the centre of the city. They build them on the fringe. So they're not too far away, but they're also far enough away. Okay. Golf courses, those kind of things. Okay. So this was a quick run through of easy questions on settlement and provision. Okay. The next video will be on the same topic, but looking at kind of mid to harder questions. Okay. Cheers. See you soon. Bye.